Since I'm making daily videos and I don't have much of a life going on, I figured I'd look back at my hard drive and check out some of my older videos. I found some video archives of my trip to San Diego in 2017, and I realized I had a ton of footage from this, like enough that I could definitely edit into something, but I just never did. So I'm gonna do that right now. A little bit of backstory behind this trip. So my friend Alex, basically it was on his bucket list to go to the San Diego Comic-Con, and it would be tough to get anyone to go with him. So basically one day he told me if I could pay for my flight there, he'd pay for the hotel and the tickets to Comic-Con. So when someone says that to you, you say yes. How excited are you?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I am a 4.5 approaching 5.
Nice. We have about 15 minutes before we board, and our food isn't out yet.
We have to look for someone to blame. A weak link in the chain of command.
I bet it was that guy. So we get to San Diego, and the first thing we do is check out the convention center where Comic-Con's happening. Now, we didn't have tickets for that day, but at Comic-Con, they have so much stuff set up around the convention center and all throughout the city for free. It was amazing because some people would literally camp out for days just to be the first people in to a certain panel or a certain event. One of the coolest things we went to that day was the Adult Swim lawn, and basically they had all this free stuff set up. I think we walked away with a bag of at least like 10 free things, including shirts, custom shirts. The next thing we did is we wanted to explore the city and go to the beach. As a lot of you probably already know, Southern California beaches are beautiful, and this is one of the things that I wish we could have spent more time doing. So next up was the day we actually had tickets. And let me tell you, the downtown area and the convention center in general was a complete madhouse. It's honestly strange to look at some of this footage during a pandemic when the streets were packed shoulder to shoulder. Obviously, for those of you that know anything about Comic-Con, you know that there's cosplayers. And very, very talented cosplayers. It was honestly impressive seeing what some of these people could come up with. And when you step onto that convention floor, it is wild. Just tons of people, there's exhibits, there's art pieces, there's celebrities. And then we came to probably my favorite part of the convention, the movie prop exhibit. This exhibit had pretty priceless props from any movie you could really think of. And they were all for sale.
Okay, this stuff is dangerous to look at.
And after about a whole morning of walking the floor, we stopped to get lunch in the Gaslamp District, which, for those of you that know San Diego, is one of the most hoppin', beautiful part of the city. It was there in this restaurant where I stumbled upon one of my biggest role models, the comedian Jim Jeffries. Jim Jeffries was an idol of mine. I think he's so intelligent, he's hilarious, and a very talented writer. So Alex convinced me to go and say something to him, which I did, and I was very nervous to do so. I tapped on his shoulder, I was shaking, my voice was quivering, and I just told him how big of a fan of his I was and that I just wanted to say hello. And he was the nicest guy, and I didn't want to impose, but he shook my hand, he chatted with me for a little. He even offered to take a picture with me and sign an autograph, which I didn't even ask for, but... And if you want any proof to how nice this guy is, a little while after he left, a person came from a group table, a big group table, and he asked me who that guy was that I was talking to. Basically, I told him it's Jim Jeffries, he's a comedian, and he said he just paid for our entire table's meals. And they didn't even know who he was. He just did that random act of kindness to a group of people who have never heard of him before. And that really stuck with me. So Jim Jeffries, good on you. That was an incredible lunch. So after lunch, we went back to the convention for a little bit, and then we decided to walk around the city some more. It was there we stumbled upon the Viceland lawn. Now, I'm a big fan of the Viceland channel, so the fact that they set this all up, giving out free stuff, all branded stuff, obviously. They had a cool school bus set up, and it was very Viceland. And then nighttime hit, and it was time to go back to the hotel, which now would be a good time to talk about where we stayed. I honestly forget where we stayed, so sorry about that, but it was a lovely place. It had a pool, it had a hot tub that we really loved, and great breakfast every morning. Then it was another day at the convention with more people, more booths, more celebrities, and much more people. And then another super cool thing is I met Bruce Timm, one of the creators of the Batman animated series, which I always loved growing up as a kid and is still one of my favorite cartoons. And again, so many people together. Then, the day after that, we checked out the San Diego Zoo. I'm not normally a zoo guy, but pretty cool zoo. We then explored more of the city. We went hiking. We checked out Balboa Park, which was gorgeous. That was one of my favorite parts. And then after that, it was time to go home. And normally after vacations, I love going home. I love, seeing someplace new, running around, and then settling back down, feeling comfortable at home. And let me tell you, every time I've been to Southern California, I didn't want to leave. But that's about it. I basically went through all my footage, and I'm glad I actually got to put it to use and reflect on the before times. And Alex, if you're watching this, thank you for that amazing trip. I had a blast, and we'll have to do one again soon.